وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. You're a little bit sleepy, so let me try again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now you're awake. Now you're awake. First, who knows which country the tune that the Sheikh led the Salah today?
I was asking the question, Sudan.
Sudan. This is when I should throw you a chocolate, but I didn't have any prepared. Fil Jannah, inshallah. Rivers of chocolate, inshallah. Khair. As you guys know, the purpose of the talk today, or the title of the talk is A Glimpse of Jannah, or Glimpse into Jannah. And the logic behind this was we are fresh outside of Ramadan and our iman is still high. However, we can start becoming distracted in the dunya and forgetting those great levels of ibadah that we reached in Ramadan. And so we must remember to keep our eyes on the prize, which is Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us all from amongst the people of Jannah. And so to mentally prepare us for today's talk, we will begin with recitation of the Quran from Surah Zumar. And I ask Qari Mahfouz to come to the front and share some verses with us before we go into the talk, inshallah.
ونفخ في الصور فصعق من في السماوات ومن في الأرض إلا من شاء الله ثم نفخ فيه أخرى فإذا هم قيام ينظرون وأشرقت الأرض بنور ربها ووضع الكتاب وجيء بالنبيين والشهداء وقضي بينهم بالحق وهم لا يظلمون ووفيت كل نفس ما عملت وهو أعلم بما يفعلون وسيق الذين كفروا إلى جهنم زمرا حتى إذا جاءوها فتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم رسل منكم يتلون عليكم آيات ربكم وينذرونكم لقاء يومكم هذا قالوا بلى ولكن حقت كلمة العذاب على الكافرين قيل ادخلوا أبواب جهنم خالدين فيها فبئس مثوى المتكبرين وسيق الذين اتقوا ربهم إلى الجنة زمرا حتى إذا جاءوها وفتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها سلام عليكم طبتم فادخلوها خالدين وقالوا الحمد لله الذي صدقنا وعده وأورثنا الأرض نتبوأ من الجنة حيث نشاء فنعم أجر العاملين وترى الملائكة حافين من حول العرش يسبحون بحمد ربهم وقضي بينهم بالحق وقيل الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Allah yubarik feek, Shaykh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you in your Quran and your recitation and allow us all to enter as groups into Jannah. Ameen. So the plan today, or plan tonight, inshallah, is for our Ustaadh to share with us a glimpse into Jannah for approximately 45 minutes. We'll have 10-15 minutes for any question or answers, and then inshallah we'll have some tea and prepare ourselves for Isha Salah. So our Ustaadh Umar Muqaddam is an Imam and a Khatib at Masjid al-Rahmah in Leeds, and he also joined us for our conference back in October, so I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with him. He's very talented. Allah Mubarak. Sheikh, Faddal Mashkoor. I'm not going to take any more of your time.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I want you, because of the title of this talk, it says a glimpse of Jannah. So I want to approach this in a way that we really do have a glimpse of Al-Jannah. And I don't want to make it too much as a lecture, but rather inshallah as a reminder to soften our hearts, not because I'm speaking, not because of what I'm going to say or how I'm going to deliver it, but rather because we're about to hear some of the ayat, as we just heard from Allah Jalla wa Ala, explaining to us, describing to us this place that we all yearn for, this place that we all crave to go towards. The place that Allah Jalla wa Ala said about himself in Hadith Qudsi, أعددت لعبادي الصالحين, I have prepared for my slaves, my righteous slaves, ما لا عين رأت, a place that no eye has seen, ولا أذن سمعت, or no ear has heard, ولا خطر على قلب بشر, no intellect, no heart is able to fathom or imagine. And if you want, you should read فلا تعلم نفس ما أخفي لهم من قرة أعين جزاء بما كانوا يعملون, that no soul can ever imagine what has been kept in store for them should they act for that place, should they do the required action to reach that place. إنها جنة, it is Al-Jannah, it is the most priceless and expensive goods of Allah. ألا إن سلعة الله غالية, ألا إن سلعة الله الجنة. The goods of Allah, the merchandise of Allah is priceless. It is something that is far beyond anything that we can pay for. It is Al-Jannah. It is the place, as we said, that no eye has seen. So all we are left with is our imagination, and even that we cannot fathom what Al-Jannah is. It is a place that Allah has told us about, but the only thing that we can relate to are the names. Everything that you're about to hear right now, you can only relate to the names, but you cannot imagine, you cannot fathom it at all. It is a place عرضها كعرض السماء والأرض. The width of this place is more vast than the universe, than the heavens and the earth. So Allah knows only what the other dimensions of it. What are the other dimensions of this place that is as vast as that which we can see, and that is the universe. And as we just heard the ayat of Surah Al-Zumar, where Allah says that those who were dutiful towards their Lord, those who had taqwa, those who feared Allah Jalla wa Ala, they will be brought on that day in groups, Zumara. They will be brought on that great day in groups to the gates of Al-Jannah. Rasulullah ﷺ said that I will be the first one to knock on the gates of Al-Jannah. And the khazin, the angel that is guarding Al-Jannah, he will open the gate and he'll say, Man anta? Who are you? And Rasulullah ﷺ said, Muhammad. I am Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And he will say, I have been commanded to open these doors to no one before you. And the door will be open for Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the first to enter will be the 70,000 from the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, their faces will be like the moon on the full night, on the full moon, the night of the full moon. This is how their faces will be. And they will enter Jannah. And the gates of Al-Jannah, 8 of the gates of Al-Jannah, each gate for its purpose. For example, the gate of Ar-Rayyan, nobody enters through it except that they are sa'imun. They are from those who love to fast. The gate that is specific for the people who did al-jihad. The gate for the people who gave in sadaqah, and so on. 8 gates of Al-Jannah. And you ask about the gates, where Zumar, people are going to be going through and crowding through these gates. How big are these gates? In one hadith it says from ma bayna Makkah wa Hajar. Hajar is now what we call Al-Ahsa in Saudi Arabia, in the Arabian Peninsula, on the other side. So Mecca is in the west, and on the eastern side of the province is Hajar. And in another riwayah, Basra, which is in Iraq, from Mecca to Basra. And in another riwayah, 40 years journey. This is how wide that gate will be. And the people that are going to be crowding in, may Allah make us from those that are crowding in through this gate of Al-Jannah. And when you enter, Ya Abdullah, you enter through this gate, what is it that you will see? You will not see any sun, scorching sun. For those of you that have come from those countries where near the equator and you feel the sun, you will not see no scorching sun. Neither will there be blistering cold, because the roof of Al-Jannah is Arsh al-Rahman, is the throne of Al-Rahman. And that will be the light source of Al-Jannah that will illuminate Al-Jannah. And as you walk through, as far as your eye can see, you can see lawn, grass, yes. But this grass is not the grass of this world. This grass is za'faran, it is saffron. And as you place your hands in this lawn and you try to feel the dirt, you will not feel the dirt of this world that you tataqazzaz min, that you become disgusted by. Rather, it is misk al-adfar. It is pure misk. And for those of you that have seen, when they take from the deer and they cut open the part of the deer that has the misk, you can see almost like it looks like soil, like pure soil. But this will not come from any deer. When we compare the things, like we said, it's only names. When we compare the things from this dunya compared to Jannah, everything is pure. And it's almost as a reminder that everything that we seek in this dunya, Allah has placed it in a place where, if we think about it, it's a place that we are not even interested in. It's a place that we are sometimes disgusted by. And I'm going to get further into this. But let's continue with our journey into Jannah. As you see, as far as your eye can see, you can see saffron grass as far as your eye can see. And you look further and you can see glimpses, and you can see things that are scattered, that are shining and glittering in your view. And these are the rocks and pebbles of Al-Jannah. And they are not made out of any rock. Rather, they are made out of diamonds and jewels. And you will see qibab, you will see domes. These domes are made out of jewels and diamonds. These are the rocks and the pebbles of Al-Jannah. And as you further move on, you see rivers coming down, flowing. One river that you see, أنهار من ماء غير آسن. You see fresh water, But not water that you get from the ground in this dunya, nor water that even comes from the sky. This is water that has been planted and flowing from Allah Jalla wa Ala. He is the one that created this river. There are only 4 things that Allah created with His own hands in a way that only Allah can, in a way that befits His majesty. And one of those things is Al-Jannah. So everything that you see in Jannah was planted by the hand of Allah Jalla wa Ala, or created by the hand of Allah. No imperfections in there, complete perfection in its design. And then you move on and you see white flowing rivers. Allah, imagine pure white flowing river. What is this river? أنهار من لبن لم يتغير طعمه. You see rivers of milk. Not milk that comes from between the blood and urine of a cow, but milk that was again created by Allah Jalla wa Ala. You'll see it flowing. This is not milk that if you leave it for a while it's going to start tasting sour or it's going to go bad. This milk is always fresh and sweet. You move on and you see rivers flowing again that are very different in their color and different in its texture. And what is this? أنهار من خمر لذة للشاربين. Rivers of wine. And this wine is not something that is going to cause you harm, but it's going to grant you the pleasure greater than the pleasure of the people who used to drink wine in this dunya. And you move on and you find a river that you will not understand what kind of texture is this river. What kind of strange colors are in this river. And you find that it is أنهار من عسل مصفى. It is rivers of honey that is pure. Nothing that is inside that honey, pure honey. And again, this doesn't come from the bellies of bees as we used to take out from this world. Again, created by Allah Jalla wa Ala. These are the rivers that you're seeing in Al-Jannah. And then you move on and you say, where am I going to stay in this place? What is the accommodation in this place that Allah has created? And you see, and lo and behold, palaces that have been reserved for you, created for you, specific to you. Nuzulan min indillah, accommodation that Allah has provided you with. And you find that the bricks of this palace, or these palaces that you have, they are gold and silver. Not the gold and silver of this world where there are impurities. Pure gold and pure silver. And the cement that is between these bricks is like that of the dirt of Jannah, misk al-adfar. Pure misk. This is what is coming in between the bricks of these palaces that are for you. And you will see in these palaces the perfect architecture and design of Allah Jalla wa Ala, that there will be لهم غرف من فوقها غرف مبنية. Mansions built upon mansions within this palace that you are seeing. Mansion within mansion. تجري من تحتها الأنهار. And even in these palaces, you have rivers flowing. And these rivers, you have control of which direction that they flow. And they are flowing in your palace. Flowing in your palace. And this beautiful design that you see, as Rasulullah ﷺ said, إِنَّ فِي الْجَنَّةِ لَغُرَفًا يُرَى بُطُونُهَا مِنْ ظُهُورِهَا وَظُهُورِهَا مِنْ بُطُونِهَا. Subhanallah. You will see these palaces, that mansions are built upon mansion. And you will see the interior from the exterior. You can see the inside of these mansions from the outside. And when you are inside, you can see the exterior. And now, what do people like? What is the fancy mansion? You'll see that it's built out of glass. And you can see everything. The light is going through. But look at how these are designed, that when you're inside, you can see the exterior. And when you're outside, you can see the interior. And these palaces, for those people who are those who have the highest places in Al-Jannah, إن أهل الجنة ليتراءون في الغرفة في الجنة كما تراءون الكوكب في أفق السماء. That the people of Jannah will see these mansions of other people that are higher than them. They will see them as you see the stars in the sky, shining. People's palaces you will see. في تفاضل أهل الدرجات. Everybody has more superior. The more superior you are, the more higher levels you have in Jannah, the other people below you will be seeing your palaces like stars in the sky. تجري من تحتها الأنهار. Again, flowing beneath is rivers. And not only that, in another ayah, تجري من تحتهم الأنهار. Flowing beneath you are rivers in a way that we cannot fathom. And then you continue and say, okay, I'm in these beautiful places, and one of your palaces, when you go inside and you see, what do you expect to see? One of your palaces is going to be, as Rasulullah ﷺ said, كَاللُّؤْلُؤَةِ الْمُجَوَّفَةِ. Imagine a pearl, and I'm not talking about the small pearl. This pearl has like an enclave, so you go inside, it's like a hollow pearl, a pearl that you can enter inside, and this is one of your palaces. And everything inside is made out of shining jewels and pearls. And as you enter this pearl, this is no small pearl. This pearl is 60 miles in its length. I just drove now from Leeds, and on the M1, 60 miles it says. Took me about 1.5 hours or less. This is the height of the pearl that you are entering in. And as you enter into this pearl, you have whom Allah has married you to the women of Al-Jannah. You will find them in all the different corners of this pearl, of this hollow pearl, where everything is created in. And inside this pearl, this woven pearl, you will find that you have places, thrones that you can sit, because you are a king. You are a king in that place that you have of Al-Jannah. مُتَّكِئِينَ عَلَى سُرُرٍ مَصْفُوفَةٍ. You will be reclining on thrones that are in rows and facing each other. على سرر موضونة. In another ayah, woven with gold. Thrones that are woven with gold. These are not like what we have here when we have a chair or a sofa. It has to be woven with some sort of fabric. The fabric of this throne of yours that you're sitting on is woven by gold. And متكئين عليها متقابلين. You will not be alone in Jannah. You will be with those people that you love. You will be with the servants that Allah has provided you with. And you will be mutaqabilin. You will be facing each other. Nobody will be facing anybody's back when you are sitting together and you are meeting with each other. To show you as well how Allah will perfect the adab of Ahlul Jannah. That when they sit with each other, they will be facing each other. Nobody will be facing anybody's back. And then when we say muttaki'in, how will you be reclining? Some of you will be reclining lying down. Some of you reclining on their elbows. Some of you sitting down cross-legged. على فرش بطائنها من استبرق. You will be reclining upon couches that are lined, some of which are lined with silk, embroidered with gold. And some of which the interior, and subhanAllah, if we say بطائنها, this is the interior. This is the inside of these thrones that you're sitting on. So you're only left to imagine what is the exterior. If this is the inside. If I was to tear open now a fancy sofa, something that is expensive, when I tear in the inside, I'll only find perhaps padding and what's not good. But the interior of the thrones of Al-Jannah is, you have inside there silk and gold. This is the interior. So what about that which is in the exterior? And also you'll be reclining على رفرف خضر وعبقري حسان, on green cushions and rich, beautiful carpets laid out in front of you. You are a king. You are a king. And the sisters are queens in the Jannah. متكئين فيها على الأرائك. And also you will be on raised couches beneath curtained canopies. In khiyam, in these canopies, in these pavilions, almost like grand marquees and tents. فيها سرر مرفوعة. And they are elevated thrones and seating for you. And these elevated seats, you don't need to climb up to get to them. Every time you want to sit on these seats, they lower themselves down so that you can sit on them. Seats that will lower themselves down so that you can sit on them, and then they will raise up. وَفُرُشٍ مَرْفُوعَةٍ. And you will be on high, soft, comfortable couches. وَنَمَارِقُ مَصْفُوفَةٍ. And on your side you have cushions in rows and rows. وَزَرَابِيُّ مَبْثُوثَةٍ. Spread out rugs and carpets. And you, what about you? What will you be wearing in Al-Jannah? يحلون فيها من أساور من ذهب ولؤلؤا. You will be adorned with bracelets of gold and pearls. Things that we as men were not allowed to wear, but is for the women. In Al-Jannah, you will be wearing bracelets of these treasured material of Al-Jannah. And the believer, when he made wudu, this is as far as his ornaments will reach. Filled with ornaments, filled with jewels of Al-Jannah. وَلِبَاسُهُمْ فِيهَا حَرِيرٌ. And you will be wearing the garments of silk. Again, something that we were not allowed to wear as men in this world. As the Nabi ﷺ said, مَنْ لَبِسَ الْحَرِيرَ فِي الدُّنْيَا لَمْ يَلْبِسْهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. Whoever enjoyed themselves as a man wearing silk in this world, he will not enjoy wearing silk in the akhirah. So ask yourself, the one who wants to wear nice silk garments, are you going to wear the silk of this world that comes out of the duda, that comes out of the worm that you are disgusted by? Or do you want to wear the silk that was created by Allah Jalla wa Ala? Which one do you want to wear? And عليهم عاليهم ثياب سندس خضر واستبرق. Your garments will be of fine green silk and velvet, glittering and shimmering. وحلوا أساور من فضة. And also you will be adorned with bracelets of silver as well. And what is it that you will eat? You know now your accommodation. You know now what you'll be wearing. What is it that you will be eating? وَأَمْدَدْنَاهُمْ بِفَاكِهَةٍ وَلَحْمٍ مِّمَّا يَشْتَهُونَ. Various types and kinds of fruits. And these fruits, لَا مَقْطُوعَةٍ وَلَا مَمْنُوعَةٍ. They are not seasonal fruits. We love it in the hot weather when we have those nice mangoes. But in December, we can't have those nice sweet mangoes that come from Pakistan, or they come from, we have nice mangoes in Yemen as well. But we have to wait. These are لَا مَقْطُوعَةٍ. There's no season for them. Whenever you want them, they are there for you. وَلَا مَمْنُوعَةٍ. You love that papaya. When you go there, and unfortunately you have to pay £5 just for one papaya, and it's on your luck, maybe it's not going to be sweet. But this is لَا مَمْنُوعَةٍ. There's no price for this. You paid the price for it in this dunya. لَا مَقْطُوعَةٍ وَلَا مَمْنُوعَةٍ. And any of these fruits that you want and choose from, they will be there for you. And also, وَلَحْمِ طَيْرٍ مِّمَّا يَشْتَهُونَ. The meat of the birds that you desire. And now you're thinking, birds, what do I want with this bird, this skinny bird that has bones, maybe I'll have a little wing from it. إِنَّ طَيْرَ الْجَنَّةِ كَأَمْثَالِ الْبُخْتِ يَرْعَى فِي شَجَرِ الْجَنَّةِ. The birds of Al-Jannah, they are like the bukht, which is the biggest of camels that you see. This is the size of these birds in Al-Jannah. The size of these birds, and they will be grazing in the trees of Al-Jannah. These huge birds, and any time that you want to eat them, they will come to you so that you can devour them. And the Sahaba, they said, Ya Rasulullah, these birds must be wonderful. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, آكلها أنعم منها. The one who eats these birds is even more wonderful. And going back to the fruits, as Allah said, فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان. Every single fruit will come in pairs. كلما رزقوا منها من ثمرات الرزق كلما رزقوا منها من ثمرة. نعم. Every time you are blessed with this fruit, وَأُوتُوا بِهِ مُتَشَابِهًا, you'll be given something that is similar. And you say, we've already been given this. But when you taste that fruit that looks identical, you will have new tastes, different taste to the one that you just tried earlier on. فِيهِمَا فَاكِهَةٌ وَنَخْلٌ وَرُمَّانٌ. And in Al-Jannah you will find fruits, date palms and pomegranates. And look at this, وَجَنَى الْجَنَّتَيْنِ دَانٍ. When Allah was talking about the two Jannat, the two paradises, they will be gardens of fruits that surround you. When you are sitting down, these gardens of fruits, these trees of fruits, they will be surrounding you. وَدَانِيَةٌ عَلَيْهِمْ ظِلَالُهَا. The branches will enclose on you to give you, cover you in the shade. وَذُلِّلَتْ قُطُوفُهَا تَذْلِيلًا. And the branches, whenever you want to eat the fruit, what do you do in this dunya? You go and perhaps you need to get a ladder, you need to maybe throw some stones, you need to wait for it to drop down. Whenever you want the fruit, the best of fruit will come and present itself. The branches will lower in front of you so that you can pick this fruit. And if you are sitting down, they will come even lower. If you are lying down, they will come even lower so that you don't even have to move to pick up this fruit. قُطُوفُهَا دَانِيَةٌ, low and near at hand. And look at what Allah mentions about the trees of Al-Jannah. Allah did not mention the roses of Jannah, nor did He mention the beautiful flowers of Al-Jannah. What did Allah mention? Allah mentioned Sidr Makhdud. Put your hand up here if you've seen a Sidr, Shajarat al-Sidr, the lote tree. Not many of you have seen it. Go today and have a look, the lote tree. Is it from the most beautiful trees? It's a tree that's full of thorns. It's a tree that is huge, and it's not the most beautiful of trees. We've seen beautiful trees. Yet Allah brings here to show you that Allah who created these trees can make even the tree that you perceive to be not the most beautiful tree, it is going to be something that is beautiful to you in Jannah. So what about all the beautiful trees of this world? How would they look in Al-Jannah? وَطَلْحٍ مَنْضُودٍ, and you will see banana trees that are piled over each other. Again, if you see the bananas in this world, the trees, how the bananas are piled over each other, you will see this coming down closer to you. Again, a tree that is not the most pleasant to look at in this world. Yet this is going to be something that is beautiful in Jannah, to show you what Allah is capable of doing for you. And what is it that you will drink in Al-Jannah? يَتَنَازَعُونَ فِيهَا كَأْسًا لَا لَغْوٌ فِيهَا وَلَا تَأْثِيمٌ. You will have, your hands will, from hand to hand, you will be passed cups of wine. And this wine, لَا لَغْوٌ فِيهَا وَلَا تَأْثِيمٌ. In this dunya, what did it used to do to you? The wine of this dunya. It caused you to have stomach aches, caused you to vomit. As we see people throwing up on the streets because they're drunk and they're intoxicated, having a hangover. لا يصدعون عنها ولا ينزفون. But in Al-Jannah, they will not have any hangovers, no headaches from this wine, and nor will they be intoxicated. بيضاء لذة للشاربين. And this wine will be pure in its taste. The people can't take the taste of the wine, but they just want to get intoxicated. But then the wine of Al-Jannah is going to be great, going to be pleasurable to drink as well. And the pleasure of the dunya, this will be in Jannah and multiplied. The person who saved himself from drinking the khamr of this dunya, he will enjoy the pleasure. So don't think that I want to try, what's this hype that people are drinking this wine? Let me have a try of it. You, Ya Abdullah, you the one who feared Allah Jalla wa Ala. You feared Allah and you said, no, I'm going to be patient and I'm going to drink the wine of Al-Jannah. You will know that taste. And you will taste that which is far greater of a pleasure than the people who are drinking the wine of the dunya. وَيَطُوفُ عَلَيْهِمْ غِلْمَانٌ لَهُمْ كَأَنَّهُمْ لُؤْلُؤٌ مَكْنُونٌ. And who are the people that are serving you this wine? Do you need to get up and go to the bar and get this wine? You are sitting like a king, reclining, and you have these beautiful, handsome servants whom Allah has blessed you with and provided, servants that only serve you, nobody else. And they are graceful in their appearance, they are clean and neat, and they are like pearls, shining like pearls. And they are the ones that are serving you this wine. بِأَكْوَابٍ وَأَبَارِيقٍ وَكَأْسٍ مِّن مَّعِينٍ. They are serving you with jugs and cups, and they're presenting it to you, hand in hand. And these jugs, they don't need to go and fill them up. These jugs are bottomless. They're filling themselves up every time you drink from there. وَأَكْوَابٌ وَيُطَافُ عَلَيْهِمْ بِآنِيَةٍ مِّن فِضَّةٍ وَأَكْوَابٍ قَوَارِيرَ مِن فِضَّةٍ قَدَّرُوهَا تَقْدِيرًا. Subhanallah. That these utensils that they're using, they're crystal clear and they're made of silver. And every time they pour for you a cup, you know, sometimes you have a cup, oh, this is too little, I wanted a bit more than that. Or it's too much and you have to leave it. These are measured to perfection, just so that you drink to your pleasure. Not to quench your thirst, you're not thirsty, but to quench your pleasure and your desire. This is the cup that you have been given. And how will we look when we enter into this place? You will not come to Jannah with your defects that you have in this world. You will not come to Jannah and have your illnesses or have anything that caused you harm in this world. Anything that people used to perhaps laugh at you. All of these things, these defects will be clear. You will not have any spit, nor will you have any mucus, nor will you be throwing up or bleeding. All the impurities that you were disgusted by, all of these things you'll be clear from in Al-Jannah. and your faces لا يرهق وجوههم ولا يرهق وجوههم قتر, and you will not have any darkness or even dust on your faces. Your faces will be illuminating. وجوه ناعمة وجوه يومئذ ناعمة. That day your faces are going to be full of going to be glowing. تعرف في وجوههم نظرة النعيم. Just by looking at your faces, you will know that you are in an optimum of decorum and happiness, and you are in great delight. The glow of delight can be seen in your face. Just by looking at your face, you can see the glow of delight in your face. And like we said, there will be no urinating, no defecating, no bleeding, no spitting, no removing any mucus, no need to sneeze. All these things will be removed from you. All these impurities will be removed from you. And as for you, you will be created with, again, one of the things we said, how many things did Allah create with His hands, with His own hands? Jalla wa ala, 4 things. And one of them was our father Adam alayhi salam, which Allah perfected. And this is how me and you are going to enter Jannah, like that of the size of Adam alayhi salam. 60 cubits long, around 30 meters that is. This is the size of me and you in Al-Jannah, walking into Al-Jannah. Complete perfection. And that which we crave for, that which we have great desire for in this world, وَزَوَّجْنَاهُمْ بِحُورٍ عِينٍ, and we will marry them off to Al-Hur Al-Ain, the women of Al-Jannah, who Allah always focuses on things that we look at when we first look at a person. Even if you're not looking at a woman in particular, you're just looking at a person, what's the first thing that you look towards? Their eyes. When you meet the person's eyes. And here, this is what the Hur Ain means. Those maidens of Al-Jannah whose eyes are wide, large eyes, and you can see clearly the difference between the white and the black. When you look at when we look at our eyes, and you can see the difference, but you can see perhaps there's a slight redness. Some of you may be sleeping not sleeping properly, so your eyes are even more red. But Hur Al-Ain, their eyes, you can see the contrast of white and black. And you are just mesmerized by the beauty that Allah has given, has created in these women that are only for you, nobody else. فِيهِنَّ قَاصِرَاتُ الطَّرْفِ. These chaste maiden of Al-Jannah, they only glance at you. Imagine, they have eyes for no one else. They don't want to look at anybody else. And this is why in one hadith, the maiden of Jannah, when she sees her husband, when she sees you coming in to that palace, she'll say, by Allah, I neither see anything in Jannah. Imagine Jannah, how beautiful it is. We're just hearing about Al-Jannah. She says, I neither see anything in paradise more handsome than you, nor more beloved to me than you. You are the most beautiful thing that she has seen. You are the greatest thing that she has seen. And so she only has eyes for you. So she says, praise be to Allah who made you for me and made me for you. لَمْ يَطْمِثْهُنَّ إِنسٌ قَبْلَهُمْ وَلَا جَانٍ. They are virgins that have never mind being touched, never mind having relationships. They have never been seen by any jinn or any man. You are the only one and the first one to set eyes upon this maiden of Al-Jannah. كَأَنَّهُنَّ الْيَاقُوتُ وَالْمَرْجَانِ. They are as pure as rubies. Pure in everything, in their outward appearance and their inward. And they are shining white like pearls. And this does not mean like the skin color white of this world. This is a white that is far beyond the whiteness of this world that we can imagine. Shining like pearls. But the Muslimat, the Mu'minat, the sisters that went through the troubles of this world, they will be even more beautiful than the Hur Al-Ain in Jannah. So when you're drooling over the description of Hur Al-Ain, know that your wife inshallah, that believing woman, when you see her in Jannah, she will be the queen of all these maidens. And these maidens will be nothing. These maidens are the ones that if they were to swipe their garment or their khimar, the scarf, if they were to swipe it across in the world, everywhere in the world would be fragrance. If they were to look into the world, the beauty from their face would wipe out the sunlight. This is the beauty that they have been given. And your wife, your spouse will be given even greater beauty than this. فِيهِنَّ خَيْرَاتٌ حِسَانٌ. They are righteous, well-mannered, beautiful. Their faces have been made to perfection. And subhanallah, in Al-Jannah, there's one hadith where some people, they don't understand what does this hadith mean. Rasulullah ﷺ said, when you look at the maiden of Al-Jannah, when you look at one of the wives of Al-Jannah, you will see every part of her body made to perfection. Even when you look at her shin, when you look at her leg, you will see the marrow that is inside the bone of the leg. What do we understand from this? Some people are, why would I want to see the marrow of the bone of the leg? When you see your wife and she has to put on her makeup, and that's when you look at her and you're amazed. Some of you, mashallah, may be blessed with wives that naturally are like that, but even the ones that are naturally like that. When you see, for example, that she has an operation and they have to cut her open, may Allah protect our families, and they have to cut her open. What you see inside, will you be amazed by it? Will you find that beautiful? No. You'll be disgusted by it. You'll see the intestines and all these things. Even if you were to cut the leg, you'll see the blood and those things, and you'll be put off. Maybe you don't want to go near her now for a few days because of what you've seen. But now the maidens of Al-Jannah, even the marrow that you see, even this is pleasing to your sight. To show you that inwardly and outwardly, everything has been made beautiful. Everything has been made beautiful. And when you enter into your palaces, all the women of Al-Jannah, they won't even see each other. Never mind seeing other men. They won't even see, the wives, they won't even see each other. So you won't have any jealousy. You won't have any jealousy. You're going to go, inshallah, visit all of them. And in the hadith it says that you will visit maybe 100 of them in a single day. So all this is from the blessings of Allah Jalla wa Ala. And of course for our sisters as well, they will be given that which they love. For men, this is something that we are naturally inclined to, that we want more and more, that we love, that we have multitude of women. But this is not something that naturally a woman wants. She doesn't want many men. This is not something that a woman wants. But she will be given that which she loves and she desires for in Al-Jannah. Nobody will be left alone in Jannah. Nobody will be left that they don't have what they seek. The women will be given everything that they desire in that man, because you will also be perfected for her. And another explanation that Allah has given, كَأَمْثَالِ اللُّؤْلُؤِ الْمَكْنُونِ, that they will be like preserved pearls. When you think about a pearl, where is the pearl? Hidden in the bottom of the ocean and in its oyster, so that nobody can access it. Nobody can just go and see. It's not on display. Again, something that we yearn for, that we don't want to see, nobody should see the beauty of our wives except for us. And so the maidens of Jannah are going to be hidden. And to go back to the point where we said, if you contemplate over all the beauties of this dunya, and you make a comparison with that of the akhirah. When we talked about milk, the milk that we enjoy from this world, it comes from between the blood and the urine of the cow. Had you gone further up and taken something from there, you would have been disgusted by it. That which you seek from your women folk, from your wives, that which you seek pleasure from, that same place, impurities come out. All the impurities that you know, they come out from there. Yet you seek pleasure from that place. When you look at water, you seek water from the ground where there are insects and all these types of things that again you are disgusted by. When you get the best of clothes and garments that are made from silk, again it comes from a worm that you are disgusted by. When you get honey that you enjoy and that's so sweet, you see it coming from the bellies of bees that you would have run away from. When you get misk that you like to place on your hands and that beautiful smell coming from the gallbladder of a deer, had you moved slightly away from there, you would have got a stench that you would be unable to handle. All the things that are made beautiful to us in this dunya, look at where they're coming from, to show you the reality of this dunya. But in the akhirah, they're going to be sourced from Allah Jalla wa Ala. No impurities at all. No impurities to put you off. Everything that has been made out of complete purity. But now you're thinking, when we enter and we see all these things, and we can only have, the only comparison that we have is the enjoyment of this dunya. Is it as if that the little enjoyment of this dunya that we've had is to tell you that imagine what it's going to be like in Jannah. So that's the only comparison you have in your mind. So when you go now and you enter Jannah and you see all these things, the people of Jannah, you are going to be fearful and say, we had enjoyment in the dunya, but one thing that we learn is that enjoyment does not last. So you'll be a bit worried. What's going to happen? I'm going to get old. I might lose all these things. In the dunya I had enjoyment, but it was only for a fixed time, and then I grew old and I couldn't enjoy things anymore. Or I lost these things. And that is when Allah will bring forth يُؤْتَى بِكَبَشٍ أَمْلِحٍ, a ram that is great and huge and fattened. It will be brought to the people of Jannah and the people of the fire. They will see this great huge ram, and it will be asked from them, do you know what this is? This ram, do you know what it is? And we will notice it and we will say, yes, this is death. This is al-maut. It has been brought in the form of a ram. And before your eyes, it will be sacrificed, killed on the spot. Al-khulud fala maut. That's what you're going to hear. Eternity now, no death. No sleeping anymore. Not even sleeping. Everything now is going to last for eternity. Those of you that are in the fire, may Allah save us from that place. They're going to be there in eternity, no death. And those of you that are in Jannah, for eternity, no death. خالدين فيها لا يبغون عنها حولا. They are not going to be مخرجين بمخرجين وما هم منها بمخرجين. They're not going to be asked to leave. Nobody's going to try and come and expel them from their homes. These are places now that you have for eternity. Your age, عربا أترابا. The age of yourselves and your wives is going to remain at one age. You'll not grow older, you'll not be younger. You'll remain at that age. And then something even more greater will happen. After all this greatness has happened, we think that this is the end. Something far greater is awaiting for us. And I want to tell you from the words of Rasulullah ﷺ himself. Rasulullah ﷺ read the ayah, لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَى وَزِيَادَةً. Those of you who did well, those of you who worshipped Allah and you sought perfection in your actions, you will have that which is good and more. وَزِيَادَةً, and even more. And then he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, إِذَا دَخَلَ أَهْلُ الْجَنَّةِ الْجَنَّةِ. When the people of Jannah have entered into Jannah, وَأَهْلُ النَّارِ النَّارِ, and the people of the fire have entered the nar, نَادَى مُنَادٍ, a caller will call out, يَا أَهْلَ الْجَنَّةِ, O people of Jannah. They will be calling me and you, inshallah. They will be calling me and you, and they will say, O people of Jannah, إِنَّ لَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مَوْعِدًا. You have an appointment with Allah. You have a meeting with Allah. تُرِيدُونَ, and in another riwayah, تُرِيدُونَ شَيْئًا أُزِيدَكُمْ. Do you want something that I can increase you in? You will be asked. And we will reply, وَمَا هُوَ, and what can it be? أَلَمْ تُبَيِّضْ وُجُوهَنَا. Oh Allah, didn't you make our faces shining? أَلَمْ تُدْخِلَنَا الْجَنَّةِ وَتُنَجِّنَا مِنَ النَّارِ. Did you not save us from the fire and give us Jannah? Give us all this beauty that's around us, these wives that we are with, the companions that we are with, the servants that you have provided us with, these palaces, these gardens, these fruits, everything that you have given us, Allah. What more can we ask for? Every desire that we wanted in this world, we are having it in Al-Jannah. And if we have more, then we are given more. And if we can no longer think about anything, you give us things to think about. What more can we ask for? And then Allah Jalla wa Ala will lift the veil that is between us and Him. فَيَنْظُرُونَ إِلَيْهِ فَوَاللَّهِ مَا أَعْطَاهُمُ اللَّهُ شَيْئًا أَحَبَّ إِلَيْهِمْ مِنَ النَّظْرِ إِلَيْهِ. You will see for the first time, before anybody else. Nobody else has seen before you. Everybody whether you are a prophet, whether you are from the shuhada, whether you are from the salihin, all of them for the first time they're going to see the veil, and we're going to be looking directly at Allah Jalla wa Ala. And when you see the face of Allah Jalla wa Ala, when you see Allah Jalla wa Ala, you will forget the palaces, the gardens, the wives, the servants, every single thing that you were amazed by in Jannah, you will forget it even existed when you see the face of Allah Jalla wa Ala. Inna Allah yatajalla lil mu'mineen yadhak. Allahu Akbar. Allah will present Himself to us and He is laughing. Allah will present Himself to us and He is laughing Jalla wa Ala. And you will forget everything else. The Sahaba, they were shocked. They said, Ya Rasulullah, if we see, we know that, for example, from the story of Musa alayhi salam, that you are unable. In our form right now, we are unable to see Allah. We would crumble, we would become dust because of the nur of Allah, the light of Allah. We're unable to look at Allah directly. But Ahlul Jannah will be given the ability to look at Allah Jalla wa Ala. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فَإِنَّكُمْ تَرَوْنَ رَبَّكُمْ كَمَا تَرَوْنَ هَذَا الْقَمَرُ. And one day Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, on a night where it was a full moon, he said, you will see your Lord as you see this, the moon in the sky. And that will be clear for everybody to see. There will be no difficulties to see Allah Jalla wa Ala. And you will see Him iyanan, you will see Him with your own two eyes. I'm not talking about metaphorically or something like this. You will see Allah Jalla wa Ala iyanan, with your own eyes. And so to conclude, I want to direct you to some of the things that we will be saying when we enter into Jannah. Some of the conversations that we have whilst we're sitting and reclining and enjoying ourselves. We will look at each other and we will say, إِنَّا كُنَّا قَبْلُ فِي أَهْلِنَا مُشْفِقِينَ. We were with our families, in the midst of our families in the dunya before this, and we were fearful of Allah, we were fearful of the punishment of Yawm al-Qiyamah. We were worried that when we meet Allah, have we done enough good actions? Have we done actions to please Allah Jalla wa Ala? فَمَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا وَوَقَانَا عَذَابَ السَّمُومِ. And because of this, Allah was gracious to us and He saved us from the torment of the fire. He granted us a favor and He saved us from that which we feared. إِنَّا كُنَّا مِن قَبْلُ نَدْعُوهُ. This is what made you get into Jannah. Because before this, you used to invoke Him alone. You used to turn to Allah alone and worship Him alone. إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْبَرُّ الرَّحِيمُ. He is the one that is most merciful, most generous. And we'll say, وَقَالُوا الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ الَّذِي هَدَانَا لِهَذَا وَمَا كُنَّا لِنَهْتَدِيَ لَوْلَا أَنْ هَدَانَ اللَّهِ. After being given all this, even then Ahlul Jannah, because Allah has given them the most perfect attributes, Allah has given them the most perfect character, they will not say that we did this out of ourselves. They say, Alhamdulillah, the one who has guided us to this, the one who made us able to do this. And so if you want to have the characteristics of the people of Jannah, any good that you do, you will always give it back to Allah Jalla wa Ala. Any good that I have done, it is from Allah, it's not for myself. You will have no pride in yourself thinking that I am the one that stood Qiyamul Layl, I am the one that recited the Quran, I am the one that prayed my salah on time, I am the one that gave in sadaqah. No, everything that I did, it was from the hidayah of Allah. It's from that Allah guided me towards it. And that is why the believer, as Rasulullah ﷺ said, when we say, as was recited, وَقَالُوا الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ الَّذِي أَذْهَبَ عَنَّا الْحُزُنِ. Alhamdulillah, the one who has removed from us all grief. وَالَّذِي أَحَلَّنَا دَارَ الْمُقَامَةِ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. That Allah has, out of His grace, He has lodged us in a home that will last forever. It will not go away anywhere. مَا عِنْدَكُمْ يَنْفَدْ. What we have in this dunya, it will end. وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. And that which is with Allah is everlasting. And that's why Rasulullah ﷺ said about this, لَنْ يُدْخِلَ أَحَدًا مِنْكُمْ عَمَلُهُ الْجَنَّةِ. None of you will enter into Jannah with his actions. Your actions, your salah, your zakah, your jihad, your hajj, your umrah, your sadaqah will not enter you into Jannah. And the companions, they said, not even you, Ya Rasulullah, not even you will enter with your actions. When you are the best of Allah's creation and you are the one who is the closest to Allah, ولا أنا إلا أن يتغمدني الله تعالى برحمته منه وفضل. الله أكبر. Not even me, Rasulullah said. Not even me, unless Allah has mercy and encompasses me with His mercy and His grace. Wallahi, every act of ibadah that you do, and this is something for us to remind ourselves, حتى لا نتغرر. We don't have ghurur. We don't have a delusion that we are doing good. Every time we do ibadah, what do we do at the end? Arsh al-Rahman, the throne of Allah Jalla wa Ala, al-Qalam, the pen that Allah told to recite, and the other twos. So the question was, what are the four things that Allah created with His own hands? We know that Allah, everything else in the universe, anything else in the creation, kun fayakun, be and it was. But there are four things in specific that Allah created with His own hands in a way that befits His Majesty Jalla wa Ala, and that is al-Qalam, the pen. When Allah said, created the pen and He said, write. What should I write? Write everything that will and everything that was not going to be, and if it was going to be, how would it be? And the other thing is Arsh al-Rahman, the throne of Allah Jalla wa Ala, which is the roof of Al-Jannah. And the third thing is Jannah itself. And the fourth thing is Adam alayhi salam. Adam alayhi salam is the only creation of Allah, being of Allah, creation of Allah, living being that has been created by Allah. Everything else was created by the word of Allah, kun fayakun, be and it was.
What about Hawa?
Hawa was created from the rib she's the rib of Adam alayhi salam. But we're talking about, as the hadith mentions, that Allah, He, with His own hands, He designed Adam alayhi salam, created him with His own hands in a way that befits His Majesty. We can't, it's not something that we can imagine or bring likeness to.
That's why he calls Hawa, because he's from
Sorry? Ahsan. Barakallah feek.
Any more questions from the brothers? Fadl.
You told us a lot about the physical attributes of Jannah. Can you tell us anything about like our emotional position, state, or what we might be thinking, feeling if we attain Jannah?
This is a good question. One of the ayahs that comes to mind, وَنَزَعْنَا مَا فِي صُدُورِهِم مِّن غِلٍّ, that we have removed from their hearts ghil. Ghil is all types of things that we have in this world that we fought to control. Our jealousy, hatred, spite, all these different things that we might have had, Allah removes this in Al-Jannah. So nobody has any jealousy. So when you go and you see, for example, like we said, the person who wore silk in Al-Jannah, in this world, he doesn't wear silk in the Akhirah. He doesn't wear silk in Jannah. When you see somebody who wore silk, you wouldn't have any jealousy towards them and feel like, oh, look at him, what he's got. Or for example, when you look up at the stars and you see stars and they actually are the palaces, you're not going to have jealousy and say, oh, I wish I had that, I wish I had that. You would be a complete content. You'll be a complete content where you are happy with everything that you have. If you have time, I just want to quickly mention the last person that will enter Jannah. The last person that will enter Jannah, imagine he's going to be coming out of the fire. As he comes out of the fire, he's going to be thanking Allah and he's going to say, Allah, you've not been merciful or kind to anybody other than me. And what did Allah? He just took him out of the fire. And that's all He did. And we know he's going to go from tree to tree to tree up until he gets to Jannah. And subhanallah, when he asks Allah, enter me into Jannah, and Allah enters him into Jannah, and Allah tells him what his Jannah is going to be. It's going to be 10 folds of this world. In one hadith, 10 folds of this world. And he's going to say, أَتَسْتَهْزِئُ بِي وَأَنْتَ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ? Are you making a mockery of me, oh Allah, and you are the Lord of the worlds? Now look at subhanallah, how content he is. How Allah has put in his heart contentness. He's not going to say, oh Allah, why don't you make it 50 or 100? He's going to say, oh, you're giving me 10? What did I do to deserve 10? Because then we're going to realize on Yawm al-Qiyamah, even the people of the fire, they're going to realize what they were missing out on, what they should have done. And the people of Jannah, they're going to say, what did we do to deserve all this? That's how infinite Allah's mercy is, that we're going to say, what did we do? That's why the malaika, they say, we didn't worship Allah as He deserves to be worshipped. And when we go into Jannah, we say, what did we do to deserve all this? We don't deserve this. And that is the reality, and that's why you're going to have such a pure heart. And that's why Allah said as well that is going to remove all impurities, both outwardly and internally. Nobody's going to have any sort of jealousy or hate or spite or any of these things that are illnesses and diseases of the heart.
Is there any more questions? We'll take one more. Sheikh, I've got a question if you don't mind. and it touches on the point of Tawheed which you mentioned.
Yeah.
Then why is it that good people from the non-Muslims, they don't enter Jannah? What is the reason? They give a lot of charity, they do a lot of good work. Could you please share?
This is a very, very important question. And I want to give you an example that was given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Have you all heard of Hatim al-Ta'i? Anybody heard of, put your hands up if you heard of Hatim al-Ta'i? Anybody here been to Saudi? Anybody here been to Saudi Arabia or lived in Saudi Arabia for a bit? You heard of the football team al-Ta'i? Football team al-Ta'i, it's in Ha'il, a place called Ha'il. Hatim al-Ta'i was from al-Jahiliyyah. He was from the age of ignorance, of al-Jahiliyyah. And his son, he didn't accept Islam, Hatim al-Ta'i. His son, Adi ibn Hatim, he accepted Islam. And he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, Ya Rasulullah, my father did all types of good. Hatim al-Ta'i was known for all types of good. Looking after the poor, looking after the oppressed, being generous. And he was mostly known for being generous. In fact, when somebody wants to praise you and say that you are generous, they'll say, Anta akram min Hatim. You are even more generous than Hatim. This is a big praise. You're not going to be more generous than him, but you're going to be, that's how generous you are. And in fact, just to slightly digress, if you don't mind, one man, he went to Hatim al-Ta'i just to see how generous he was. And he went to his house, and Hatim was busy writing or doing something. And he said, I don't have time for you. And the man left. And then Hatim, he was worried about his reputation. He quickly went to see the man and he covered his face. And he went to the man and he said, did you go to see Hatim? The man said, yeah, I saw Hatim al-Ta'i. He said, what did he do? How did he treat you? He goes, oh, he looked after me, he was generous to me and all this. Then he takes down his veil and he says, what do you mean? I'm Hatim al-Ta'i. I didn't do any of this. Why did you say that? He said, come on, do you think if I went and told the people that Hatim al-Ta'i didn't look after me, that they would believe me? This is how known he was. So anyway, Adi ibn Hatim, he comes to Rasulullah and he says, Ya Rasulullah, my father did this and did that and this. Will he not enter into Jannah? And Nabi said to him, your father sought after something that he received. Your father sought after something that he received. What was that? Fame, reputation and name. Up until today, people remember Hatim al-Ta'i. So Allah gave him what he wanted. He wanted fame, he wanted reputation, Allah gave him that. Whoever wants the dunya, Allah will give him the dunya. Take the dunya if you want. But you're not going to get anything from the akhirah. Had Hatim with all the good that he did, had he wanted al-akhirah, had he wanted the pleasure of Allah, Allah would have granted that, because Allah does not do dhulm on anyone. And that's why the people of Jannah, what does Allah say about them? وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. What did we used to do? We used to feed the people who are poor and the one who's in captivity and the miskeen, the poor, the orphan. We used to give them food. Why did we give them food? We have these YouTubers today and TikTokers that are non-Muslims. They come and they give this guy £10,000 and this people feed these people and all that. Why will they not enter Jannah? إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. The only reason, they're not saying this to the poor person, by the way, this is lisanul hal. They're saying this in their intention. The only reason why we're feeding you is because wajh Allah. We want the pleasure of Allah. That's all we want. لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. We don't want you to thank us. We don't want likes and subscribe. We don't want any of that stuff. And that's why the ulama, they say, don't even say to the poor person when you give him something, don't even say, make dua for me. Because that's like you want something back. Don't even say that. Don't even say that. Just give it to him and go. Because all you want is the wajh Allah. That's the believer. And that's why Allah will give him in Yawm al-Qiyamah. That he will, فَوَقَاهُمُ اللَّهُ شَرَّ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ. Because you were fearful of that day, and because you sought Allah with your actions, you will get Allah. You will get the pleasure of Allah. And you will be saved from Jahannam and from the adhab of Allah. Why? Because your intention was for Allah. So these people, they will get what they want. For you shabab and you following these type of YouTubers and TikTokers, they will get what they want. They wanted likes, they got the likes. They wanted to have the most watched video, they got the most watched video. But then don't expect something from Allah when you never wanted it in the first place. Allah does not do dhulm on anyone.
The charity يوم القيامة الله يقول كأنها رماد صار
كأنها
يعني الرماد الشريك يعني
نعم صح. Like this is for also for the munafiqun as well, because they did actions not seeking through it wajh Allah. They did not seek the pleasure of Allah through the actions. They only did it because they wanted the people to tell them that know them as Muslims. They only did it for riya. They only did it to show off. So all their deeds, they will see them on Yawm al-Qiyamah, and it will be haba and manthura. It will be like dust, like a mirage, like it wasn't there. Like a mountain that you see, and then when you get closer, it's just become a cloud of dust. It's not there. That's the same thing, because they did it to show off. They wanted everybody to see that, oh, look at how much I give in charity. Look at how great my voice is when I recite the Quran. All these types of things. They wanted the people to see that. Yawm al-Qiyamah, they will see that. They wanted it to see, they will see that. When they go and try to get it, it will turn in dust into their faces. Because that's what they wanted in the end of the day. They wanted it for show. They didn't want it for the real purpose.
Jazakumullahu khair, Shaykh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your beautiful reminder today. Barakallahu feekum for all of you for sitting so attentively and respectful for our Shaykh. We have half an hour left till Isha, so the brothers are more than welcome to go downstairs and have some tea. And the sisters already have their tea. Better serve the sisters first, we don't want any trouble. And also, I would kindly request all the brothers to stay downstairs while you're drinking your tea. Please don't bring it up into the main hall. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us all to be reunited in Jannah, drinking and talking over each other's rivers and remembering how we were sitting here in this hot masjid when we have the cool breeze of Jannah, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum, subhanahu wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.